139 more COVID-19 deaths recorded in South Africa. A 60-year-old woman survives attempted hijacking and kidnapping in Johannesburg. Ramaphosa calls joint sitting of Parliament for his economic recovery plan taking place on the 15th of October. Joburg scholar suspended following bullying incident. In sports, Chiefs transfer ban uncertain does little to scare Soweto Giants. More information when we return. My name is Ongeziwe Makamba. Keep it locked. This is Jozi City News. Health Minister Zweli Mkhize reported on Thursday that the accumulative number of detected COVID-19 cases has risen to 688,532, with 1,641 cases identified. China has decided to join a global effort to distribute coronavirus vaccines fairly around the world, while the US is still refusing to commit. The World Health Organization launched the COVAX program to ensure that 2 billion vaccine doses can be distributed to those most in need by the end of 2021. So far, 157 countries, including China, have signed. Just after 5 p.m., a 60-year-old woman parked her white Mercedes-Benz A1 outside a residential complex in Montgomery Park and was getting ready to meet a client when a car suddenly stopped next to hers and two men jumped out, grabbed her by the mouth and shoved her into the boot. Thanks to the swift reaction of eyewitnesses, some who were jogging in the area at that time who noticed the attempted kidnapping and screamed for help, the men were able to drive away. A grade 9 learner at Fairdale High School has been suspended pending disciplinary hearing after allegedly assaulting another learner outside the school's premises on Friday. Gauteng Department of Education said it received a video which was also viral on social media, in which the learner is seen dragging and assaulting another on the ground. Accordingly, we also informed that the perpetrator has allegedly been tormenting fellow learners on several occasions. President Cyril Ramaphosa wrote to National Assembly Speaker Thandi Modise and National Council of Provinces Chairperson Amos Masondo about his intention to call a joint sitting of the two houses. Parliament announced in a state of Friday afternoon. Ramaphosa was due to appear before the NCOP for verbal questions on the 15th of October, but the question session will be rescheduled. Due to the devastation caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, the country's economy is set to contract anywhere between 7% and 13% this year. Stay tuned. This is Jozi City News.
Thanks to Ongezi. We're now getting to our sports, starting right away with rugby news. The regular Super Rugby competition went into lockdown at the end of March, but returned with a domestic flavor with 3 added teams and a chase to a unique finale in November. The 4 existing Vodacom Super Rugby teams, Vodacom Bulls, Emirates Lions, Chelsea Sharks, and DHL Stormers, have been joined by the Toyota Cheetahs, Phakisa Pumas, and Tafelelaga Griquas, with all 21 matches to be broadcast by existing Super Rugby broadcast partners. The season started on the 9th of October, seeing Chelsea Sharks taking on Emirates Lions in Durban, Ekakasini, while on the 10th of October, we are going to see the Toyota Cheetahs and Vodacom Bulls hosting Phakisa Pumas at 16:30 and Tafelelaga Griquas at 7 o'clock p.m. respectively. Now getting into soccer news, going to MTN 8, we're having Kaizer Chiefs still having troubles with regards to their FIFA ban, and Kaizer Chiefs football manager Bobby Motaung having said that a club simply have to remain patient as a court of arbitration for sports still have to make that decision or make their ruling. The Soweto Giants were hit with a transfer ban in February this year for allegedly signing and registering Andrea Marindo Ducks Andri Ramanana in 2018. What a name this is. It takes a man to call his name. Continue with our sports now. Bafana were playing on Thursday against the Namibians on one of their international friendly games. The game was very interesting. The game was very One will say the boys showed character, the boys showed that they're intending to be the part of the national team. But otherwise, one would say the first half was so great, first half was awesome. Mulifinseki did whatever he could, but second half, he had to change his players. He made about 6 substitutions because his players were now struggling. The legs were not complying with the players, mainly because of the lockdown. At least that's what they tell us, that the boys were not fit yet since they haven't been playing a lot of football. We will see now tomorrow how is it going to pan out, as the Bafana team will be taking another stronger team, Chipolopolo, the Zambians. We'll see how it goes as they are preparing for their CHAN qualifications. Checking what is happening in the world of tennis, Novak Djokovic set up a blockbuster French Open title showdown with Rafael Nadal on Friday after a dramatic 5-set semi-final victory over Greek star Stefanos Tsitsipas. World number 1, Djokovic, the 2016 champions at Roland Garros, reached his 5th final in Paris, defeating 5th seed Tsitsipas 6-3, 6-2, 5-7, 4-6, 6-1 in a roller coaster of a contest where he had held a match point in the 3rd set. Nadal, the 12th-time champion, defeated Diego Schwartzman 6-3, 6-3, 7-6 to make a 3rd final at the tournament. Then on Sunday, Djokovic can win 18th major and become the first man in half a century to win all 4 slams twice, while Nadal, the world number 2, can equal Roger Federer's all-time record to 20 Grand Slam titles. Well, this is how we make it to the end of our sports news right here on Jozi City News. Now, going back to the beautiful on Geziwe. Cheers.
We are here in Newtown Corner, profiling businessmen and the effect that COVID-19 has had on their business. Mr. Chunky, can you please tell us about your business?
Thank you. Newtown Sushi, welcome to Newtown Sushi Grind. The restaurant was established this year in 2020. Currently, we are located at 3700 Ngwalo Street. So we have managed to employ 4 employees, and then we've got 1 female and 3 chefs. Got 1 chef which is dedicated for sushi, and then the 2 chefs which does the general cooking. So we did a profiling around Johannesburg, especially within Newtown and the inner city, CBD. So we find out that currently there's no restaurant that is serving sushi, where you can currently go and sit and have a sushi and witness the chef preparing the sushi for you. And then again, we also serve breakfast. We serve lunch as well, and then we serve dinner. So all the food that we're preparing here is prepared right in front of you. So we don't do like pre-packed food and then you come later and the food is already prepared. So you get that opportunity to look at how the food is being prepared. You know, if you want to engage with the chefs, you can also engage and ask them questions. What kind of spices are they adding into your food?
So tell us, what safety measures do you guys have in place within your restaurant?
Thank you. Now, since we know that we are still under a level 1 lockdown, we are still under pandemic, coronavirus is still affecting a lot of people. So we realize that we need to comply with the Disaster Management Act and all the regulation that is set by our government. So we know that we have a certain number of people that shouldn't exceed when they're coming to the restaurant. And also when they enter into the gate, what we do is that we have put signages. People have to sanitize their hands, and then they have to put their mask when they are coming inside the restaurant. So if you look at inside our restaurant, it's, we accommodate a certain number of people. So we try to make sure that they practice social distancing. And then we also take temperatures of our employees in the morning to check if, you know, they are under the required temperature level, you know. And then we also sanitize our tables on a daily basis regularly to ensure that whatever is there, the bacteria and viruses are being killed, you know. And also what we do, we take registers to keep record, and also we do the screening where we ask them questions, you know, have you traveled to any countries, things like that. And then also, were you in contact with someone who was affected with COVID-19, or are you coughing and things like that? Just to also do our part as well, you know, to make sure that we prevent the spread of coronavirus.
They have definitely turned the COVID-19 pandemic into something positive. This is Snalo Tete reporting from Sushi Grand in Newtown Junction.
Gauteng's most recommended private school in recent years is facing financial difficulties. SPAC Maboning staff have confirmed that management has announced an unexpected closure for the 2021 academic year due to the parents not being able to afford fees. SPAC Ferndale, the first school in the SPAC school network, opened in 2013 in Johannesburg. Since then, the network has expanded to serve more than 10,000 SPAC scholars at 21 schools in Gauteng and the Western Cape. Now, this South African treasure has sadly become a casualty as a result of the worldwide pandemic. Former VBS Chief Financial Officer Philip Truter entered into a plea agreement with the state on Wednesday in exchange for a reduced sentence. He was sentenced to an effective 7 years in the Commercial Crimes Court sitting in Palm Ridge. Both the Hawks and the National Prosecution Authority have said this development has strengthened their case against those implicated in the VBS Mutual Bank fraud case. A 3-year-old girl was declared dead following a drowning incident in Florida, Johannesburg on Wednesday afternoon. According to ER24 spokesperson Nick van Heesteen, when paramedics arrived at her home shortly after 12:30, they found the little girl laying in the yard and bystanders performing CPR on her. Let's take a look at the weather. Thank you for watching Jozi City News. I'm Ongeziwe Makamba. Stay safe, be COVID alert, and have a warm good night.